Hello, my name is Jiso and I'm reading Master Dōgen's Shōbōgenzō. And we've reached chapter 11, Uji, Existence Time. U means existence and Ji means time. So Uji means existent time or existence time. In this chapter, Master Dōgen teaches us the meaning of time in Buddhism. As Master Dōgen explains in other chapters, Buddhism is realism. Therefore, the view of time in Buddhism is always very realistic. Specifically, time is always related with existence, and existence is always related with momentary time. So in reality, the past and the future are not existent time. The present moment is the only existent time, the point at which the existence and time come together. Also, time is always related with action here and now. Action can only be realized in time, and time can only be realized in action. Thus, the view of time in Buddhism reminds us of existentialism in modern philosophy. It is very important to understand the Buddhist view of time in order to grasp the true meaning of Buddhism. An eternal Buddha says, sometimes standing on top of the highest peak, sometimes moving along the bottom of the deepest ocean, sometimes 3 heads and 8 arms, sometimes the 16-foot or 8-foot golden body, sometimes a staff or a whisk, sometimes an outdoor pillar or a stone lantern, sometimes the 3rd son of Chang or the 4th son of Li, sometimes the earth and space. In this word, sometimes, time is already just existence, and all existence is time. The 16-foot golden body is time itself. Because it is time, it has the resplendent brightness of time. We should learn it as the 12 hours of today. The 3 heads and 8 arms are time itself. Because they are time, they are completely the same as the 12 hours of today. We can never measure how long and distant or how short and pressing 12 hours is. At the same time, we call it 12 hours. The leaving and coming of the directions and traces of time are clear, and so people do not doubt it. They do not doubt it, but that does not mean they know it. The doubts which living beings by our nature have about everything and every fact that we do not know are not consistent. Therefore, our past history of doubt does not always exactly match our doubt now. We can say for the present, however, that doubt is nothing other than time. We put ourselves in order and see the resulting state as the whole universe. Each individual and each object in the whole universe should be glimpsed as individual moments of time. Object does not hinder object, in the same way that moment of time does not hinder moment of time. For this reason, there are minds which are made up in the same moment of time, and there are moments of time in which the same mind is made up. Practice and realization of the truth are also like this. Putting the self in order, we see what it is. The truth that self is time is like this. We should learn in practice that, because of this truth, the whole earth includes myriad phenomena and hundreds of things, and each phenomenon and each thing exists in the whole earth. Such toing and froing is a first step on the way of practice. When we arrive at the field of the ineffable, there is just one concrete thing and one concrete phenomenon here and now, beyond understanding of phenomena and non-understanding of phenomena, and beyond understanding of things and non-understanding of things. Because real existence is only this exact moment, all moments of existent time are the whole of time, and all existent things and all existent phenomena are time. The whole of existence, the whole universe, exists in individual moments of time. Let us pause to reflect whether or not any of the whole of existence or any of the whole universe has leaked away from the present moment of time. Yet in the time of the common man who does not learn the Buddha Dharma, there are views and opinions when he hears the words existence time. He thinks, because I am an angry demon with 3 heads and 8 arms, and sometimes I become the 16-foot or 8-foot golden body of Buddha. For example, it was like crossing a river or crossing a mountain. The mountain and the river may still exist, but now that I have crossed them and am living in a jeweled palace with crimson towers, the mountain and the river are as distant from me as heaven is from earth. But true reasoning is not limited to this one line of thought. That is to say, when I was climbing a mountain or crossing a river, I was there in that time. There must have been time in me. And I actually exist now, so time could not have departed. If time does not have the form of leaving and coming, the time of climbing a mountain is the present as existence time. If time does retain the form of leaving and coming, I have this present moment of existence time, which is just existence time itself. How could the time of climbing the mountain and crossing the river fail to swallow and fail to vomit this time now in the jeweled palace with crimson towers? The 3 heads and 8 arms were time yesterday. The 16-foot or 8-foot golden body is time today. Even so, this Buddhist principle of yesterday and today is just about moments in which we go directly into the mountains and look out across 1,000 or 10,000 peaks. It is not about what has passed. The 3 heads and 8 arms pass instantly as my existence time. Though they may seem to be in the distance, they are moments of the present. The 16-foot or 8-foot golden body also passes instantly as my existence time. Though it seems to be yonder, it is moments of the present. This being so, pine trees are time, the bamboos are time. We should not understand only that time flies. We should not learn that flying is the only ability of time. If we just left time to fly away, some gaps in it might appear. Those who fail to experience and to hear the truth of existence time do so because they understand time only as having passed. To grasp the pivot and express it, all that exists throughout the whole universe is lined up in a series and at the same time is individual moments of time. Because time is existence time, it is my existence time. Existence time has the virtue of passing in a series of moments. That is to say, from today it passes through a series of moments to tomorrow. From today it passes through a series of moments to yesterday. From yesterday it passes through a series of moments to today. And from today it passes through a series of moments to today. And from tomorrow it passes through a series of moments to tomorrow. Because passage through separate moments is a virtue of time, moments of the past and present are neither piled up on one on top of the other, nor lined up in a row. And for the same reason, Saigen is time, Obaku is time, and Kozai and Sekito are time. Because subject and object already is time, practice and experience is moments of time. Going into the mud and going into the water similarly are time. The view of the common man today and the causes and conditions of that view are what the common man experiences, but are not the common man's reality. It is just that reality, for the present, has made a common man into its causes and conditions. Because he understands this time and this existence to be other than reality itself, he deems that the 16-foot golden body is beyond me. Attempts to evade the issue by thinking, I am never the 16-foot golden body, are also flashes of existence time. They are glimpses of it by a person who has yet to realize it in experience and to rely upon it. The existence time that also causes the horse and the sheep to be as they are, arranged in the world today, is a rising and falling, which is something ineffable, abiding in its place in the Dharma. The rat is time, and the tiger is time. Living beings are time, and Buddhas are time. This time experiences the whole universe using 3 heads and 8 arms, and experiences the whole universe using the 16-foot golden body. To universally realize the whole universe by using the whole universe is called to perfectly realize. Enactment of the 16-foot golden body by using the 16-foot golden body is realized as the establishment of the mind, as training, as the state of Bodhi, and as nirvana. That is, as existence itself and as time itself. It is nothing other than the perfect realization of the whole of time as the whole of existence. There is nothing surplus at all. Because something surplus is just something surplus, even a moment of half perfectly realized existence time is the perfect realization of half existence time. Even those phrases in which we seem to be blundering heedlessly are also existence. If we leave it utterly up to existence, even though the moments before and after manifest heedless blundering, they abide in their place as existence time. Abiding in our place, in the Dharma, in the state of vigorous activity, is just existence time. We should not disturb it by interpreting it as being without, and we should not enforcibly call it existence. In regard to time, we strive to comprehend only how relentlessly it is passing. We do not understand it intellectually as what is yet to come. Even though intellectual understanding is time, no circumstances are ever influenced by it. Human skin bags recognize time as leaving and coming. None has penetrated it as existence time abiding in its place. How much less could any experience time having passed through the gate? Even among those who are conscious of abiding in their place, who can express the state of having already attained the ineffable? Even among those who have been asserting for a long time that they are like this, there is none who is not still groping for the manifestation before them of the real features. If we leave even Bodhi and Nirvana as they are in the existence time of the common man, even Bodhi and Nirvana are, though, merely a form which leaves and comes, existence time. In short, without any cessation or restrictions and hindrances, existence time is realized. Celestial kings and celestial throngs, now appearing to the right and appearing to the left, are the existence time in which we are now exerting ourselves. Elsewhere, beings of existence time of land and sea are also realized through our own exertion now. The many kinds of being and the many kinds of being and the many individual beings which live as existence time in darkness and in brightness are all the realization of our own effort and the momentary continuance of our effort. We should learn in practice that without the momentary continuance of our own effort in the present, not a single Dharma nor a single thing could ever be realized or could ever continue from one moment to the next. We should never learn that passage from one moment to the next is like the movement east and west of the wind and rain. The whole universe is neither beyond moving and changing, nor beyond progressing and regressing. It is passage from one moment to the next. An example of the momentary passing of time is spring. Spring has innumerable different aspects, which we call a passage of time. We should learn in practice that the momentary passing of time continues without there being any external thing. The momentary passing of time, for example, inevitably passes, moment by moment, through spring itself. It is not that the momentary passing of time is spring, rather, because spring is the momentary passing of time, passing time has already realized the truth in the here and now of springtime. We should research this in detail, returning to it and leaving it again and again. If we think in discussing the momentary passing of time that circumstances are only individual things on the outside, while something which can pass from moment to moment moves east through hundreds of thousands of worlds and through hundreds of thousands of kalpas, then we are not devoting ourselves solely to Buddhist learning and practice. Great Master Yakusan Kodo, the story goes, at the suggestion of Great Master Musai, visits Zen Master Kozai Daijaku. He asks, I have more or less clarified the import of the 3 vehicles and the 12 divisions of the teaching, but just what is the ancestral master's intention in coming from the West? Thus questioned, Zen Master Daijaku says, sometimes I make him lift an eyebrow or wink an eye, and sometimes I do not make him lift an eyebrow or wink an eye. Sometimes to make him lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is right, and sometimes to make him lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is not right. Hearing this, Yakusan realizes a great realization and says to Daijaku, in Sakito's order, I have been like a mosquito that climbed on to an iron ox. What Daijaku says is not the same as what others can say. His eyebrows and eyes may be the mountains and the seas, because the mountains and the seas are his eyebrows and eyes. In his making himself lift an eyebrow, he may be looking at the mountains, and in his making himself wink, he may be presiding over the seas. Being right has become familiar to him, and he has been led by the teaching. Neither is not being right the same as not making himself act, nor is not making himself act the same as not being right. All these situations are existence time. The mountains are time, and the seas are time. Without time, the mountains and the seas could not exist. We should not deny that time exists in the mountains and the seas here and now. If time decays, the mountains and the seas decay. If time is not subject to decay, the mountains and the seas are not subject to decay. In accordance with this truth, the bright star appears, the Tathagata appears, the eye appears, and picking up a flower appears, and this is just time. Without time, it would not be like this. Zen Master Kisho of the Shoken region is a Dharma descendant of Rinzai and the rightful successor of Shuzan. On one occasion, he preaches to the assembly, sometimes the will is present, but the words are absent. Sometimes the words are present, but the will is absent. Sometimes the will and the words are both present. Sometimes the will and the words are both absent. The will and the words are both existence time. Presence and absence are both existence time. The moment of presence has not finished, but the moment of absence has come. The will is the donkey and the words are the horse. Horses have been made into words and donkeys have been made into will. Presence is not related to having come, and absence is not related to not having come. Existence time is like this. Presence is restricted by presence itself. It is not restricted by absence. Absence is restricted by absence itself. It is not restricted by presence. The will hinders the will and meets the will. Words hinder words and meet words. Restriction hinders restriction and meets restriction. Restriction restricts restriction. This is time. Restriction is utilized by objective dharmas, but restriction that restricts objective dharmas has never occurred. I meet with a human being. A human being meets with a human being. I meet with myself, and manifestation meets with manifestation. Without time, these facts could not be like this. Furthermore, the will is the time of the realized universe. The words are the time of the pivot, which is the ascendant state. Presence is the time of laying bare the substance, and absence is the time of sticking to this and parting from this. We should draw distinctions and should enact existence time like this. Though venerable patriarchs hitherto have each spoken as they have, how could there be nothing further to say? I would like to say, the half presence of will and words is existence time. The half absence of will and words is existence time. There should be research and experience like this. Making oneself lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is half existence time. Making oneself lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is mixed up existence time. Not making oneself lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is half existence time. Not making oneself lift an eyebrow or wink an eye is mixed up existence time. When we experience coming and experience leaving, and when we experience presence and experience absence like this, that time is existence time. Shōbōgenzō Uji, written at Kosho Horinji Temple on the first day of winter in the first year of Ninji, copied during the summer retreat on the first year of Kangen, Ijo. Thank you for listening.